because he was folding laundry with my kids after he had done all that to me. And he said, fold the laundry now. And I said, well, I just want to sit here for a few minutes. I just need to calm down and process everything that's just happened. I just need to figure out what just happened. And he said, fold the laundry now. And he told my children to call me the B word, a derogatory term to me over 3 times. Say mommy's a bitch, which of course I did because they thought it was a game. They were still so little at the time. And I'm sitting there in only my bra and pants, no socks, no shoes, on the sofa. I said, I don't want to fold the laundry right now. Why would I do that when you just treated me this way? He took a screwdriver that we had out because I think we were fixing the table that day. It was nearby, and he picked it up and he jolted it towards my leg with less than, maybe a centimeter or 2 away from my leg, and stopped. And he did that 3 times, trying to get me to get up and fold the laundry as a means of coercion. And at that point, I got up and I tried to pretend like I was going to. He had my phone at the time. He did hide my phone after the police had left the first time and he got into the room. I got scared, and I really didn't want to leave my kids in the house with him because I felt really worried for them as well, but I didn't have my phone. It had already been an hour more after the police had left, and he started the abuse to me and the hitting and slapping and spraying me with the shower and the threats. So I opened the door and I started yelling just, I still kept trying to downplay it in my mind, like, oh, no, this, it could happen, was it, not that it was an accident, that, it could happen, maybe he hit me harder than he meant to, or, because you love the person you don't hope that they want to hurt you. But yeah, that was when it kind of first clicked for me. Of course, we were about to move, and we did just have our son 3 weeks before that February event, with my arm photo. And I think I just tried to be strong for the family. But after we moved and the April event happened, I kind of just decided, like, no, I can't do this anymore. I can't let this keep happening. I need to report it. I need him to get some type of punishment, or, even if it's just counseling, to know that this is not okay. It's going to end up with me getting killed eventually. And the November 28th incident that this video is from, I actually, sorry. Anyway, but for the February event, I was there, my son was there, he was 3 weeks old. He had actually covered my face with one of those really thick, winter blankets, not like a comforter, like the ones that are actually like the gray ones that are made for winter, and they're really thick and heavy and weighted. He covered my face with those 2 times and had me in a chokehold as well. And at that time, I just remember I was really scared. I was just like thinking, oh, I need to comply with this person. I need to just say, okay, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Because if I don't, I have, my son and my 2 daughters who need me. And what happens if something happens to me today and I'm not there for them, and that's going to be my legacy for them as, the woman who stuck around in her relationship for the sake of her relationship, and now I'm just another statistic, as a mother for them. It's just, but anyway, I just wanted to give some context on this